Thank you for watching The Sportsman. I'm Keith. This is Danny. This is Corey. We're going to get you going, continue our little run we got going here. We're going to go with tight ends, your must-have fantasy tight ends for 2021 in a PPR setting. Without further ado, I'll just get this one rolling. I'm going to get this one going with number one. It's got to be Travis Kelce. I think it's set in stone at this point that it's Travis Kelce. I don't think there's really too much argument. In 16 games last year, 105 receptions, 1,416 yards for 11 touchdowns. He puts up top-tier wide receiver numbers. So he's your number one pick, set in stone in my opinion. If you guys want to debate me, go for it, but I'm sure you guys have the same pick.
I'm just going to piggyback. He's the only tight end that's justifiably taken in the first round. Mm-hmm. You could make an argument for it.
Oh, yeah.
Or, like, if you're the 12th pick in a 12-person draft, you're getting him on your second pick.
Oh, yeah. Well, and just on that, Danny, I want to kind of mention that. Think about this tight end. If you can lock down a really solid tight end, it's a single position that can put up a shit ton of points where everyone else is going to be putting up average points. So if you can lock down a top tier guy, you're holding down one position on your team that's going to outscore most other teams every week at that position. So Corey, anything on your number one pick?
No, I agree with you guys 100%. It's Travis Kelce.
Okay.
All right.
It's a clear cut, 100% number one.
Who's your two?
But just to talk about Kelce real quick, you guys already, I gotta say what I gotta say about him. Take him early, don't skip on him, just because he's tight ends like that are just too rare. That they're such a severe grade lower.
Yeah,
from the 1 to the 2.
Yeah.
So tight ends at the end of the day, when it comes to fantasy football and it comes to fantasy football playoffs, they are always the deciding factor in my opinion. That and the flex.
Yeah.
So you must go get him.
Yeah.
Everything else at that.
If you're in position, do it.
Everyone else coming under him is going to be put up numbers or will not put up numbers, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Well, on that, who's your number two?
So for my two, I got Darren Waller. I think Darren Waller is the clear-cut offensive weapon on that team in the passing game.
Okay.
Especially since their receivers are now extra suspect with losing Nelson Aguilar and only having Ruggs.
Nelson Aguilar, the stud?
Yeah, the stud that he is.
I can't catch.
That I have Darren Waller as my number two.
Okay. Danny?
I have Darren Waller number two.
Okay.
All right, so he had 146 targets last year. He caught 107 of them, which is pretty much Travis Kelce's numbers, for less yards and less touchdowns. But he has, so he was 1,196 yards and 9 touchdowns. So he has just as much touchdown upside as Travis Kelce does, in my opinion, just because what Corey already said, he's funneled. Like, there's nobody else. Aguilar left. You have 1,000 running backs. Like, someone's got to make the plays.
Yeah. All right. So my number two, I actually still have George Kittle. So my thing with George Kittle is he is the most athletic tight end. I think, pretty big step over Kelce even. As far as what he can do athletically, he's an okay blocker. He can catch. If that offense can kind of come alive, and especially if they can bring in Trey Lance at some point. I know that's a run-based offense, but I still have a lot of faith in George Kittle. Now, last year in 8 games, 48 receptions, 634 yards, a little low with 2 touchdowns. But if you would have played 16 games, it would have put him on pace for 96 catches, 1,268 yards, which would have put him second in yards and only 4 touchdowns, but I'm sure he would have scored more. It's not like Jimmy G was lighting it up last year. But I still see the upside of George Kittle, and he's younger than Waller. So I don't think Waller's a bad choice because I'll actually lead into it. I have Waller at 3. And pretty much for the same thing that these guys said. Last few years, he's been coming on strong. He's a guy that it took him a while to come on, though. A few years, he wasn't that good. But like Danny said, in 16 games last year, actually had more catches than Kelsey by 2 at 107. Still put up almost 1,200 yards and just under double-digit touchdowns. I don't think you can go wrong with Waller at 3, in my opinion. Who do you guys have at 3?
My 3 is Kittle. Literally, I love everything about Kittle.
Okay.
I love everything about Kittle. But I'm thinking about Trey Lance. And that's why I put Waller above him, because I think Trey Lance is more talented than Jimmy G. So I feel like he's more mobile. Like, that's what scares me, is that like some of these like go up and get it first downs are going to turn into running plays. And that's the only thing that scares me. I mean, I wouldn't blink if he's there. I'd freaking grab him. You kidding me? Like, him and Waller are going to go, like, right one after another.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Okay.
So for my 3, it's George Kittle.
Okay.
There's really nothing more that I could add. I feel like you guys did genuinely cover everything about the man, George Kittle.
Okay.
The only reason why I have him lower is because of what's going on with the 49ers and where it's looking like they don't even know what their quarterback situation is going to be. So, honestly, if Jimmy G's playing, I'm more confident with George Kittle just on the chemistry they have already built.
I agree with you there.
So if Jimmy G is starting, but if they make that decision, if Jimmy G's having a bad game and they put Trey Lance in there, it could fuck everything up for George Kittle, in my opinion. Not that he's not talented enough.
Yeah, he'll get his.
But there's just a lack of chemistry. So that's what puts George Kittle for 3 for me, under Darren Waller. But I'll shoot this straight to my number 4.
All right, I think this is where it's going to start getting interesting.
This is where it's going to get different.
We're going to start to have vastly different players.
All right, so for my number 4, I have Mark Andrews.
Okay.
So Mark Andrews is my number 4.
Okay.
He didn't have a great year last year. It was a down year compared to his first year when he broke into the scene with 701 yards with 7 touchdowns.
And 58 catches.
With 58 catches. But as far as down the field, the same thing with Darren Waller. He is the number 1 option going down the field. He does get a lot of targets.
Well, we'll see now with Waddle.
Waddle. Yeah. And so I still think that Mark Andrews is the number 4.
Or not, I'm sorry. Wrong team.
Sorry. It's all good.
That's because that's where I'm going. But yeah, wrong team. Sorry.
But I think he's going to have a bounce back year. Okay. I don't think it's going to be another.
He screwed me last year.
He screwed me last year too, but I think his potential, his upside, I'm going to put Mark Andrews number 4.
All right, well, I'll jump into mine just because I kind of gave it away. I actually have Dallas Goedert at number 4. I know it may be elite to some people, but if you were to take these 3 players, this Kelsey, Kittle, and Darren Waller, whatever, over the last few years, your next guy 100% would have been Zach Ertz. And I think Goddard has shown that he can jump right into that Zach Ertz role. And I think things are too questionable with Ertz. I think that is Goddard's role right now. I think he takes that number 1 tight end this year. So I'm going to take the risk, and I like Dallas Goedert at 4.
Damn, I thought I was going to get some heat.
Okay.
All right. I have T.J. Hawkinson 4.
Ooh,
okay. I like it.
He's coming off a season where he had 101 targets. He caught 67 of them for 723 yards and 6 scores. Now it's a complete makeover. He literally doesn't have to compete for any targets. And Jared Goff, like it or not, is not as polished of a quarterback as Matt Stafford was, to where Matt Stafford could find other weapons. I feel like he's going to be a bailout plan early and often. You looked at Gerald Everett and Higbee.
Okay.
They both did good with Jared Goff. It's to be seen, but I'm going with like the prospect of more targets.
I like it.
That's not bad.
And he's young. He's due for the breakout. So I think this is his breakout year.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Who do you have at 5?
Number 5, I have Kyle Pitts.
Okay. All right. He had to go somewhere.
4, almost the same reason. He doesn't have to compete against Julio Jones for targets. If they still had Julio, he would be like 3rd in the pecking order.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Ryan slings it. They're always moving down the field and losing, which means they have to throw more. I don't know, man. Pitts is like, everyone's saying he's that generational tight end. So and he doesn't have to fight off Julio for targets. It's just him and Calvin Ridley.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's a whole new team now, and no one knows what it's going to look like. Mike Davis is your running back. Like, it's going to be totally different.
Mike Davis,
but I think the volume will
back
be there.
up himself.
All right, so I'm gonna roll into that because that's also my number 5. I thought that was gonna be a bold claim with Kyle Pitts going number 5. That offense, like you said, Danny, is just too high powered, and without Julio being there, he's already looking to jump into the number 2 option if he is as high as a prospect as they are claiming him to be.
Or the 1. We don't know.
I still don't. That's still Calvin Ridley's spot to lose for right now.
Yeah.
But Kyle Pitts is still going to be great. I think Matt Ryan's going to feed him. I think of days back in fantasy football where Austin Hooper was a really good tight end, and it's just because Matt Ryan was throwing him the ball. So
That's a good point.
I'm gonna go with Kyle Pitts, number 5.
All right. My number 5 is Mark Andrews. I like him at that 5 spot, kind of the same stuff that Corey said. He had a bit of an off year last year, 14 games, 58 catches, 701 yards, 7 touchdowns. Still on the upper echelon for tight end touchdowns, but not super high. I see him having a bounce back year this year. The Ravens are still super weak at wide receiver. He's a big weapon. I know they're a run game first type of team, but when that strong safety or that linebacker breaks for Lamar Jackson, he's going to be open. So I go Mark Andrews at 5, and I'll actually steal this, and I'll kind of add on to Danny's with I put TJ Hawkinson at 6. I have TJ Hawkinson at 6, and I don't have anything to add on to it, literally exactly what Danny said, and I'll pass my 6 on to someone else.
All right. I have Mark Andrews at 6. I want to touch on something that you guys really didn't hit. They added Sammy Watkins and they drafted Bateman. Like, they're trying to crowd the receiver room for Lamar Jackson. That's what makes me nervous, and that's why I have him at 6. I still think he's the go-to guy, but I'm not confident. Still, this is going on 3 years I'm saying it. I'm still not confident in Lamar Jackson's arm.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's not an awesome quarterback, but I just can't get over it. And I had to get screwed by him last year.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
But he's still very, very much the
You left a
upside
sour
is there.
taste in his mouth, Mark Andrews.
Seriously.
The elite upside is always there, especially when you're in a run-first offense. The tight end is always an option.
Oh, hell yeah. All right, Corey.
So my
who's
number 6 is way off the mark with you guys. I got Robert Tonyan on Green Bay Packers. I think he gets the most touchdowns as far as all the other tight ends with 11 touchdowns.
Was tied with Kelsey.
Tied with Kelsey. And sure, he didn't get that many yards with only 586 yards, but I think if you could get at this point in the tight end conversation, if you can get a guy that's going to guarantee you at least a touchdown a game almost, that's a guaranteed 10 points automatically.
At a scarce position.
So that's why I have Robert Tonyan at 6. If you're getting 10 to 15 points for a tight end, that's what you're asking for.
That was your 6?
That's my 6.
He's my 7th.
Okay.
I want to just... This stat is amazing. He was targeted 59 times, and he caught 52 of them. Like, that's really high percentage. And that's what having Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback does. The only thing I don't like is how, exactly that, 59 targets. That's why he's low for me. If I'm the Green Bay Packers, he's my number 2 option all day. He's athletic. He doesn't drop passes. I mean, what did he miss? He missed 7. So whether it be drops or just over the head, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I like the upside. Having Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback is always a plus.
Okay. All right. So for me at 7, I have Pitts. It's funny, Corey. You touched on the Hooper thing. That's why Pitts dropped for me. Because as good of a tight end as Hooper is and was, he never really had standout numbers on that team, and he was there before Calvin Ridley really emerged. I think it's all on how that offense chooses to work Pitts in. If they work him in to make him a primary guy, great. But if they don't, I have a little bit of concerns because you could be the biggest beast in the world, but you have to be able to. Have the system built around you in order to put up the numbers. So that's who I have at 7. He's Kyle Pitts.
Fair enough.
All right, so I'm just gonna jump in with my number 7 since you guys already talked about him. I got T.J. Hawkinson at 7. I don't trust the Lions at all. I think their coach is a hot mess. I think their line is a hot mess, even with getting Sewell.
What, he let up 2 sacks?
Yeah, he let up 2 sacks in preseason. Yeah. Goff is just Goff. Like,
I don't hate Goff.
I don't hate him, but I'm just saying that is not anywhere close to the caliber of the team that he had from the Rams. And
no, but Goff has been known to light up a tight end or 2 in his day. So
I don't know. So for me, I just don't like the Lions and what's going on organizationally.
Okay.
Dude, I have nothing to say about that. I agree. The Lions
but
are
Hawkinson's talented enough to be number 7. That's the whole thing. He's definitely talented enough.
Okay. Yeah. Alrighty. Number 8.
I'll take this.
All right.
I have Logan Thomas.
Okay.
For Washington.
Okay.
I'm a big Logan Thomas fan. I wanted to put him way higher, but then I thought about it realistically. They added Curtis Samuel. You have Terry McLaurin. They're looking to make Gibson like Christian McCaffrey, they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Rivera runs that team.
Mm-hmm.
He wants him to do everything that Christian McCaffrey does.
Yeah.
That right there just takes like some of the wind out of my sail. Because they have... Alright, so the reason why I have him that high at 8 is because they have Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick isn't a chump. He's a good quarterback. He's not great. But I think he's going to make smart enough decisions and good enough throws to feed Logan Thomas. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Curtis Samuel is going to be there too. Okay. As far as the main target. I think it's going to be Logan Thomas. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of thinks in here, I think. But.
Okay. Alrighty.
Well, that's all this is.
Who's your number 8?
So I'll roll into it because I have Logan Thomas as number 8 as well.
Okay.
He had 670 yards for 6 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. I think...
Yeah, pretty good numbers.
Yeah, with what I said about McLaurin is what I'm going to say about Logan Thomas. You had Dwayne fucking Haskins throwing you the ball.
Yeah.
And you put up these decent numbers.
Well, Dwayne Haskins was benched most of the OS.
Yeah, but still.
But they rolled through Heineke. They rolled through Alex Smith. So he always had someone different.
Mm-hmm.
I expect bigger numbers from Logan Thomas this year because of the upgrading quarterback.
Okay.
Love his skill set.
I actually want to put in an opinion on Logan Thomas because I actually don't have him on my list. And I'm going to tell you my reason why. The only thing that actually dropped him off my list was he's someone that emerged at the age of 30. And that concerns me for a team that doesn't have a quarterback. I agree with you guys on the upside, and I could put him there. But that's the reason that I'm going to justify that he's actually not on my list.
That's fair. That's fine.
And I have some crazy guys ahead of him, but it's just how I personally feel.
And that's what this
is all about. And with that, I'll actually jump into my 8. I have Gesicki. And my thing is, I like that Miami offense. I think that if Tua can turn it around this year, and that's yet to be seen, Gesicki is a huge weapon. On top of all the guys that they've added, if you have a solid tight end, and he's a guy I put very close to a guy like Hawkinson, where he's kind of a young, athletic, kind of a what Kittle is, but just like a bunch of nuts below that. But he's built like that. He's an athletic. He's out there to run routes and catch balls. Mm-hmm. He's really not out there to block. He's really not out there to do anything flashy. He's just out there to go out there and catch balls. And I like Gesicki. Last year, 15 games, 53 catches, 703 yards. And then 6 touchdowns, which puts him on par. So I have Gesicki at 8.
So I'll roll into that because I have him as my 9.
Okay.
You too? But I have Gesicki for everything you said more. Is from previous points that Danny has made when you have a quarterback who cannot throw the ball that well and relies majorly on the run game in Gaskins and then quick dump passes to either his running back or Gesicki. Mm-hmm. That is how that offense is run as of right now from what we've seen last year. Mm-hmm. So yes, Gesicki, in my opinion, is the 9th best tight end to take.
Okay.
All right, so this is my number 9 as well. If they didn't add Waddle or or Will Fuller,
Mm-hmm.
he'd be so much higher for me. He's a highlight reel. The man makes one-handed grabs every other game. He doesn't drop passes, and he could shrug off hits. Like he's everything you want in your in a tight end. Period. With the exception, he could be a better blocker, but you don't want him for that. You want him
Not
for
in
his
fantasy football. You
playmaking.
don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give two fucking shits about his blocking in fantasy football.
And I don't trust Tua to get Fuller the ball on a deep
So
ball.
I totally agree with that, and they're trying to design this team to go down the field. That's why they drafted Waddle. That's why they got Will Fuller. So Tua's gonna have to man up, and I just
Yeah.
I want Gesicki to be higher for me, but now that's a very crowded room. Like there's a lot of mouths to feed now.
Okay. All right.
So you're 9, Keith.
My 9, I have Higbee. My man Higbee out in L.A. I think that, again, the upside, it's funny because you guys talk about the wide receivers coming in and eating up targets. I think they definitely eat up targets, but I also think that they open up these good tight ends. I think that a good tight end, if they can make that impact, and they have to make that impact in order for this to work, but a good tight end is going to eat, and if they're that good, they're going to be a main focus. Because if you can shut down those receivers, it's Tua. But this is Higbee.
No, I know,
he's
but I'm
talking
saying,
about
all right.
Yeah, I was going to say for Higbee. But yeah, no, I understand that. And like I said, the Tua thing is yet to be seen. But if Tua sucks, none of those wide receivers are going to do anything. So that doesn't matter for anyone.
And Miami still has a shit ton of picks. They can still get a new quarterback.
But
Higbee.
yeah, I like Higbee. I think that they made a huge upgrade at quarterback. I don't think that running back room is still the running back room the way it is. It's going to be a committee kind of led by Henderson. But I don't know. I like Higbee there.
All right, Danny, hit us with your number 10.
My number 10 is Tyler Higbee.
Okay.
Because Stafford is on that team. Stafford is good at throwing the ball. And Higbee is a go up and get it kind of tight end. That's why Gerald Everett isn't there. It's because they can rely on Higbee.
Literally.
And he's a good blocker.
Yeah.
So that's everything they want in a tight end. So
Yeah.
why pay 2 when you have 1 and you have 2 really good receivers?
Yeah, literally.
And a quarterback that can read the field much better than Jared Goff.
Yeah.
I like Higbee. Listen, tight ends are scarce, so the upside's there.
Yeah, and when you can get that athletic style tight end, that pass catcher style tight end.
He's big. He's a big guy.
Yeah, you take him. I'll actually roll into my 10 because you guys brought him up, but I dropped him way down. I have Tanyan at 10. I like Tanyan. I understand everything you said. I have stated this since this whole Aaron Rodgers things have been going on. I have concerns with the Packers, just as a unit. I mean, I understand what they are. I understand what Aaron Rodgers is. I just have concerns of them as a unit. Someone that made their impact last year. I would be worried about them falling to the wayside this year. I don't question his talent. I don't question his ability to have impact. And besides Aaron Jones running the ball and Devontae Adams, I mean, I know they have Cobb, Danny. You bring it up all the time because that's your sleeper fantasy that you haven't been telling anyone.
16th round pick.
Yeah, seriously.
Make sure you get him.
Seriously, after
First waiver ad.
Yeah.
Right after the draft.
Man, watch, that's going to come back to bite me so much. He's going to end up beating the championship game or something. But, I have Tanya because I see his upside, and I feel bad dropping him down. But I have to stand strong by what I've been saying about the Packers. I have to stand by it. I have to live by the sword and die by the sword. So we'll see.
All right. So before I hit you with my number 10, Keith, I'm going to steal a play out of your book and just say that I do not have Higbee on my list at all.
Okay.
And I'm going to, my reasoning behind it is because I've had Higbee before.
Woof.
And this man has burnt me. It is always a thing with the Rams that if you own Higbee, Everett goes off. And if you own Everett, Higbee goes off.
You don't have to worry about that.
You
Yeah,
can't.
there's no more Everett.
But still,
I know, you can't separate yourself from
that's what
that.
I'm
I get
saying.
it.
I feel like that's everything. If you have Cup, what's his name goes off?
Woods.
Woods.
Yeah.
Woods goes off. If you have Woods, Cup goes off. That used to be like what it was on the Vikings, except if you had Diggs,
Yeah,
Thielen
Diggs
went
and
off
Thielen.
every week.
But yeah, I just can't get behind getting a Rams tight end anymore.
Okay.
I just can't do it.
That's
I'm
fine.
So
sure
where's your 10?
So my 10 is as my thing went dark. Just give me 2 seconds. My 10 is Rob Gronkowski.
Ooh, interesting.
So I have.
I
That's
thought-
my boy.
I thought I was gonna have the crazy head.
I'm picking Rob Gronkowski as my number 10,
Sheesh.
just for the fact of what I saw towards the end of the playoffs.
Okay.
And what I saw during the Super Bowl. It finally got there. It finally clicked. They figured it out. I think that will roll straight into next season. They finally got the chemistry that they were missing all season. And on that high-powered of an offense, you have to. It's like Kelsey's number one. He can get anyone can get a touchdown. In that, it could be Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it could be Tyreek Hill, it could be anybody. It's the same thing with the Buccaneers. So Gronkowski's going to get touchdowns at the
Tom
end.
Brady's a good enough quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the number 10 best tight end, in my opinion,
Interesting.
Rob Gronkowski.
Okay. Danny, who do you have at 10? Oh,
You guys are on 11.
So we're on 11. Danny, who do you have at 11?
Oh, you guys ready for this shit?
I am ready.
Jared Cook.
Whew.
Woo! The man the Saints cut.
I like it. I like it.
Hear me out.
I like it.
Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
He's huge, and he's now with Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
Herbert liked his tight end before they took him away.
Mm-hmm.
So, do I think he's gonna replicate what they had? No, but I do think there's gonna be a touchdown upside, red zone upside for him. I mean, Jared Cook's coming off like 37 catches for 504 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
7 touchdowns. I think that's going to go up.
Yeah, and he's going with the hottest rookie since Baker Mayfield, straight up.
Dude, Herbert's really that good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know it's a
He's
stretch.
still
I
throwing
know.
tight ends.
Listen, I'm willing to bet he's not on any of your lists. But yeah, I like. You know, it's a dive. It's a prospect pick.
All right, you want to know my number 11? Jared Cook.
Oh shit, son!
I thought I was gonna be that guy. Jared Cook, it's gotta be. I've got a man crush on Justin Herbert. I'm not gonna front. I think the man is
bro.
stud. That offense is fucking loaded. I like it. I got nothing else to say. I really don't.
I know Corey's without him telling
All
me.
right, so what you got mine?
I think I know.
Do you?
I could just say it. I don't want to.
The man the Chargers let go, Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry, the
is
man who just
my
got
number-
hurt?
He's still projected to come back week 1. He's still projected to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it
Mm-hmm.
as far as the injury people, and that's why he's dropped. He's all the way at 11. But this 2 tight end system that's going to happen.
That's what's scary.
And I'm
That's
concerned.
what
I'm
I
concerned
think
about
he's
the
gonna be
fucking
the clear-cut
quarterback.
number
Who the
one.
hell's throwing him the ball?
I think he's still going to be the clear-cut number 1.
Okay.
He's Hunter
Well,
Henry.
yeah, I agree
Jonnu
with that.
Smith has been, with him healthy, has been dominating practice.
Yeah,
now.
no, I agree. But I think that when it comes to week 1, Hunter Henry will probably get the starting role. And Jonnu Smith, because Hunter Henry is going to get hurt. It's not an if, it's a when.
Yeah.
And then Jonnu Smith will probably come in and not give that job back up.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Because Jonnu Smith's just a little younger.
Well, hold on. I know I just talk shit, but listen, we've seen Bill Belichick roll with 2 tight ends, a 1A, 1B.
Yeah, how'd that work
and
for
be
him?
super successful.
They're both
And
20
they're
point
working in
tight
the
ends.
long run.
They were both 20-point tight ends.
In the long run, Corey.
So, I mean, I get it. I get it. Corey, listen.
I'm being bold, trust me.
I love Hunter Henry, bro. He's not on my list.
He's still a great tight end. Like, I'm not this guy.
Oh, he's a great tight end.
That's what I'm saying. So
But Cam Newton's not a great quarterback anymore.
No, that's
No.
No.
We don't know what Mac Jones is going
That's
to
what I'm
be.
saying.
Because Mac
after week
Jones
1 preseason. I'm loving Mac Jones.
came in late.
I know.
Came in late. Which I liked him too. We'll get into that in another video. Make sure you tune in.
Yes.
But yeah, I just have concerns. But I do respect the pick because this is where I think we're gonna start getting a little
We're all wild
little
here.
crazy. But all right, I'll jump into my 12 quick here just to wrap up the starters. I have Noah Fant. And he's a guy where I like the athleticism. I like the speed. I'm concerned about the quarterback, but based on the quarterbacks the other night, they looked fucking awesome. Drew Lock lit it up. I like Noah Fant. It's the athletic upside of Noah Fant. And then it's like, who the fuck else is there? At this point, we're getting deep.
All right.
So I go Noah Fant at 12.
So I'll go with my number 12 because Keith's already touched on him. The man that I feel like he reached for was Dallas Goedert. Is my
Okay.
number 12. I have I think
He's unlisted for me.
yeah. See, I think Dallas Goedert has earned, even though it's still Zach Ertz is there technically. I feel like Zach Ertz is almost an afterthought. They're already talking about trade rumors with the whole
He's
thing that's
expelling.
happened with Bill Belichick. It's like, I don't think Zach Ertz wants to be an Eagle anymore. So I think that's Dallas Goedert's tight end spot, and I think he's showing it.
I think you're right.
And so for the 12th tight end, for my last pick, I have Dallas Goedert.
Okay.
I'm no fan.
Okay, I like it. I'm glad someone else got
All right.
put him up there.
So, Noah Fant's due to break out. I have huge concerns with their quarterbacks. I know they did good in their first preseason showing, but I don't give a shit. I don't. Drew Lock, I have no faith in Drew
I have
Lock.
no faith in
and,
that.
and Teddy Bridgewater, like, I like Teddy Bridgewater, but he's tapered off from year to year.
Yeah,
he's not the
not as a
same
full-time
guy that he
starter.
was with
Definitely.
the Vikings.
He's definitely not good as Terry Bridgewater.
And I want to take it a step
Definitely
further. I want to take it a step further. Cortland Sutton's going to be back. Jerry Jeudy looks better than he did last year. So
Could open it up for fan.
12. You could stay at 12. There's 12 people in my fantasy football league. But I want to throw an honorable mention out there.
All right,
ahead.
give us an honorable mention.
Dalton Schultz,
Huh.
Cowboys tight end.
Why?
Okay.
So, I had a
like it.
dumpster fire of a team at the tight end position last year in a couple of the leagues I did. And I just happened to pick up Schultz. And out of nowhere, the man started to do really good. And I'm hoping that momentum carries over. Granted, it wasn't with Prescott. But he's earned the starting job.
Yeah.
He has the starting job. I know there's a lot of mouths to feed, but like if your team is that good, if you're that good, you'll get open, you'll get targets. Honorable mention.
Okay.
You already touched on Gronk. I was going to throw Gronk in there.
All right. Well, it's funny. We touched on Johnny Smith, but I would say my honorable mention would be Johnny Smith. I would be looking for him as far as a late tight ended or a waiver wire pickup. He's never going to hurt you. It just depends on what's going on with that offense. I have concerns with that offense. Just what's its identity? They added 5,000 freaking free agents. They got the man, the myth, the legend, Nelson Aguilar, who can't catch. But that's neither here nor there. I have concerns about that offensive game plan, and I think it can help or hurt anybody when you don't know what you're doing and you have this quarterback, then you go to this quarterback. But yeah, that would be my honorable mention because the man is still a beast. Corey, got anyone else to throw out there?
Nah, I think everyone that I would talk about has already been mentioned top
Okay.
10, so I really don't.
Before we get
Haven't.
off it, I want to throw one guy out there that I think is going to emerge.
Okay.
Cole Kmet, Chicago Bears tight end. He came on strong at the end of last year with Trubisky. I mean, for real.
With the Mitch.
He's got the frame, dude. He's a big guy. I think he's like 6'5", like 260. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
And they've been glowing about him all preseason, week one. They've been talking so much crap. They've been talking him up. Justin Fields has a great connection with him. So, I don't know. It's interesting. A lot of the landscape at tight end is going to be dictated by who the starter is at especially these rookies that came in. Like that could change a lot. So I'm curious to see, but that's the name to look out for me. I think Cole Kmet's going to wind up emerging. Jimmy Graham is going to be in the graveyard, and that's it.
Yeah.
Wow, in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Wishing death on the man, literally.
Well, I mean, Jimmy
Might as well
Graham,
stop
it's-
playing. I mean, he
that's-
sucks.
Yeah, he could.
I feel like a schmuck saying that. I like
put it
Jimmy.
down. Yeah, he's only. I mean, he had his few good.
He's
years
got as
out
much
there.
football left as Randall Cobb.
Yeah, seriously.
They're probably the same amount.
Seriously, but all right, we'll cut her off there. Thank you for watching The Sportsman. Make sure to watch us on Twitch every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to debate you. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Come with ideas. Come ready to bring the heat, because we are always ready to bring the heat. And we just jumped on Twitter, so make sure to follow us at the 3 Sportsmen, 3 with a number 3. That's the only name we could get. But make sure to check us out there. We're going to be dropping knowledge all day, every day. Other than that, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we will check you next time. Peace.
Speak.
Cheers.
Enter my intimate energy element. I am an entity walking ahead of the pack. I really am out of my head, and it's evident that I will never be able to ever quit. Melanin